Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. It's the end of March. I hiked out to the cabin today. If you watched the footage in the beginning, I actually came along the river trail instead of coming through the swamp. I've got basically two ways of coming in. Either way you got to cross the field. Unfortunately it's pretty muddy right now. We're kind of in between everything. The snow is starting to, well, the snow is heavy in the woods, but on the fields it's pretty much gone. So that's all mud, and then you hit the woods and it's kind of icy and slippery. And of course the river, as you can see in the footage earlier, it's open. The ice is busted up, and I missed breakup again. But if I don't live here, I don't get a chance to see it. I've only seen it a couple times in my life, and it's pretty neat to see the river let go when it does. It's impressive. I thought today I would go over the cost of building this cabin. Now, I kept some records, and I had a lot of stuff donated that saved me a ton of money. And there are people that actually could build this even cheaper if they tried. I mean, if I would have tried to get more recycled material, or if I would have used more logs instead of like OSB and plywood, I could have saved all that. But it was, for me it was like weighing convenience and the ability to build it versus the time, and the effort. And I've had people, tell me, well, that's too much effort put into a cabin this size. And in a way, they're probably right. It'd be a lot easier, and if a guy could just pull in, like they make these little buildings. They prefab them, they build them in a parking lot, they put them up for sale, and they're $5, $6, $7 grand, whatever size you get, and with a metal roof, and then they pull them right out on a trailer and park them where you want them, and you'd have your instant cabin, which would be a really good way to go, except you have to finish them, of course, and all that. But that's $5, $6, $7 grand. I didn't spend that much on this. So to start off, I'll do just a quick cost analysis of the cabin. The first thing you need is property. Well, I'm blessed there. My parents were smart. They purchased a family farm many years ago. They bought up the property around it, gave me the opportunity to build here, overlooking a river and a creek, and I mean, what else could you ask for? I have no complaints that way, but that's something you can't count in building a cabin, but you got to have the property. So for me, property, priceless. That can't be put into the equation. Secondly, I got a lot of stuff donated by my friends and family, which was really nice. For example, the doors and windows. I mean, that door came out of a house of my friend Craig. He donated all the windows and this big door for this cabin. I mean, I was going to put in, a $100 door. That might be $300, $400 door. I don't know. It's a steel door with a fancy glass and everything. He even gave me the locks, So, I mean, what else could I ask for? The windows are the same thing. They're Thermopane. I would have went to Menards. I would have bought $100 windows, probably 6 of them. That's what I got in the cabin, basically. Or I got 5 of them in the cabin. I probably would have paid $600, $700 for that, but I didn't have to. It was donated by him, so I really appreciate that. The roof is steel. This was donated by my buddy Bill, my hunting buddy, and he had a roofing project and it was left over, and he said, I might have enough for you to do the job. And it's like, yeah, okay. I said, I'll take it, no problem, whatever. Even if it doesn't, I figured I could buy a few pieces if I had to. Well, we had just enough, just perfect amount. I mean, how can you go wrong? Now let's go inside. Okay, I got my cheat sheet on my phone. The wood stove was donated by my buddy Bill's dad. Now, he had this little wood stove in his shop, and it worked fine. It just took a long time, he told me. It just took a long time to heat the shop up. So he bought one just like it, except double the size, and he said, if you help me install it, you can have this one. So that's what we did. And Bill helped me with that too. I helped him and his dad. I got this. I had to purchase a stovepipe. He gave me all the brick, fire brick for it, and that was awesome. Couldn't go wrong that way. The logs, of course, came off the property. We are basically, I call it Otter Hill, behind us, away from the river. It's a pine barren. It's all pine. Mostly white pine, some hemlock mixed in, and a lot of it's perfect size, 10, 12 inch, pretty straight. So that's where we got them from. Now my father helped me basically peel the logs, and like these up here, these big roof joists, they were cut with a chainsaw mill right on the, actually probably 100 yards away or less, and that was all right from the property. So you can't go wrong that way. So basically that was all free, but sweat equity, obviously. And if you didn't have the property, if you didn't have a pine barren behind you, you couldn't use the log cabins that way. You'd have to purchase a kit or something else. The 2x4 lumber in that, some of it was cut on a sawmill recently, some of it was cut years ago. Most of it's white pine, some of it's red pine. All the rafters upstairs were red pine cut on a sawmill. They're all 2x4 lumber, true 2x4 lumber, and that stuff is strong. And it survived 3 foot of snow this year. Of course, there's a lot of pitch on the roof, but I was pretty happy with that. But that stuff I didn't count because I had that lumber from years ago, and I don't remember how much it was. We had the logs, and maybe a 1 day's cutting was $300, but I didn't count that because it wasn't. I had used a lot of that lumber before on another project, so that was kind of like left over. So that was nice. I'm not going to count my tools. I did buy a fair amount of tools. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have to do a video, add it all up, because I needed some specialized stuff to do this by myself. I actually bought a inverter generator and a winch, an electric winch, so that I could move logs around, and that helped a lot. I still did have, had a little bit of help from my buddy Bill and my little brother. We put these in 1 day, like 2 years ago. Now I guess it is. It would be it'd have been 2 falls. It'd be 2 falls this year. Yeah, it would have been 2016. Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like it, but yes. And I had them help me with that. So, I mean, I can't say I built this completely by myself, because I didn't. I did have some helpers, and that was great. And like I said, my dad peeled a bunch of logs, probably half the logs in this building he did. So, starting from the ground up, basically, I took telephone poles. I got them for free. They're treated, and I buried them. And then also I bought some block. The block was a couple bucks a block, so it wasn't, I think I've got 10 blocks, so $20 bill for that. And then, of course, concrete, I got to have that added in another place. The big cost of the floor, after I put the floor joists in, then I put in, it's called insulated reflective thermocell. It's like a rolled out sheet. And it's got, hollow spots, little thermocells, and of course it's a moisture barrier combination insulation. And it actually worked really good. It keeps the moisture from coming through, damaging the floor and that kind of thing. So I put that down. I put some old boards on top, the old pre-cut or farm cut 1 inch, and then I put my plywood on top of that. So that was $75, and I remember that specifically. I still have the slip on it. It was actually 76 something, but I'll call it $75. The plywood, I bought plywood. I got 7 sheets of plywood because I wanted plywood upstairs, and I was going to use all boards on the floor, and to be honest with you, I kind of didn't have enough. I kind of ran out, and I thought, having 3 big sheets of plywood might work out okay. The plywood was roughly $20 a sheet, 7 sheets, $140. OSB. Now I did OSB on the roof. Initially, I was going to take the chainsaw mill, split a bunch of poles and pine poles, peel them, and the more I looked at it, the more ponderous it got. And because I did have some good 2x4 lumber, I figured I could use make a semi-conventional roof out of it. So that's what I did. And I used OSB sheeting, and then of course the steel goes on top of that. That went up really good, especially by myself. That one, once I had this floor up so I could work up there, then I just built as I went, put a center pole. Actually, I used a center 2x4, but a center pole in and put the rafters on it, and then put the OSB on it, and then put the steel roof on it. So 10 sheets of OSB, 13 bucks a sheet, $130. Concrete, mason mix. I bought 10 bags of mix, basically. I used mason mix on everything, the concrete outside, chinking, and also the foundation blocks. I filled those. It was about 10 bags, 50 bucks, because they're $5 a bag for good quickcrete. When I put the stove in, I also had to buy stovepipe. There's about 7 sections, 2 elbows, total $35. I actually bought those at Menards. They were on sale. With the masonry, also, I forgot to add, I put a color with the outside, and that was green, and it comes in a jar. It's expensive. It's 50 bucks. It's like 25, but I needed 2 jars, so it's like 50 bucks. 2 small jars to do the pigment. So the outside chinking is green. That is something you could do without. I think it looks nice. Kind of blends in. I don't know. I just like it. I like it a lot better after I did it than I did before. Fasteners, $40. Give or take. I mean, I really didn't keep track of that. I bought a couple of big lots for like, I don't know, they were like 15 bucks for the big 3-inch, screws. And then I bought a couple of packs. They were a couple bucks a piece of like they call pole barn nails. All right, so next we got log seal waterproofing, and that stuff is kind of like Thompson's water seal, whatever. It's not cheap. I bought a couple pails of it, about 120 bucks. So, and I still have one more treatment left, and the inside maybe I'll use linseed oil or something else just to make it shiny. And not have a lot of smell, and that's important to me. I don't want it to smell like a chemical deal when I'm staying here. So that's one thing, that had to be done. I think it'll protect the logs long term. Insulation was a big cost. I didn't want to use recycled insulation or reclaimed insulation or anything like that. So I insulated. I got a couple bags of the big fiberglass insulation for the eaves and the walls and stuff as best as and I've used that up. Now I have to do for the roof, so I'll probably get more fiberglass but with a cardboard backing, tack it in place. Maybe put foam up. I haven't decided yet, but something like that. Try to get it insulated. You only lose heat here out of the roof because the walls are so thick, and it's like totally quiet. I always get a kick out of it. You get in here and it doesn't matter what's going on outside. You can't hardly hear anything because if the windows are closed, it's pretty tight and the walls are thick. So 260 bucks for that. Window glue and caulk. I had to glue everything in, try to caulk everything up. I said $45. I actually didn't keep track of that, but that's roughly what it is. Each window took a half a tube of caulk, and then I had some that spray in foam, and then some of the other type of glue to help glue everything in. And so I said 45 bucks on that. Then the metal lath. That's the mesh stuff. That's like this. I don't know if you can see it on camera. You probably can hear it, but it's metal. And actually I used it around the wood stove, around the chimney, to keep the chimney pipe from burning anything up or whatever when it gets hot. That seems to work pretty good with the concrete. But I used the lath in between the logs where we had big spaces, and then I would chink over that, and that would help hold everything. And I have to admit, it has held this winter anyway. This is the second winter it's been chinked. This is actually the first winter it's been fully chinked inside. I had the outside chinked pretty much last year, but the lath, that was 60 bucks. And I also used it on the bottom to keep varmints from digging up underneath, hopefully. So, but it's not a guarantee. So, without anything else, as far as furnishings and tools I bought to help make this happen. $1,005. Well, say $1,000. It's probably closer to $1,200. I probably missed a few things that I didn't, If you don't take every receipt and hang it up, how are you going to know for sure? Anyway, thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and ask a question. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until next time, take care.